My daughter-in-law snapped. I wish you'd just disappear. That was it for me. I cancelled her fancy wedding and kicked her and my son out of the house. It's a story they'll never forget. My name is Samuel Carter. I am 64 years old, a retired building contractor who spent 4 decades designing homes for other families while trying to keep my own family standing strong. I have been married to my wife Helen for 42 years and together we raised one son, Michael, our only child, our greatest joy, and the reason I worked late nights and early mornings so he could have a life with opportunities we never had. But age teaches you that you can sacrifice your youth for someone, you can give them everything, yet still end up betrayed by the very people who should protect you. And as an old man with tired hands and a steady voice, I am here to tell you how one sentence from my daughter-in-law broke every boundary I had, and how the revenge that followed became a story they will never forget. I first met Emily, my daughter-in-law, when she was 24. She worked in social media marketing and lived for attention. She carried herself like the world owed her applause, her nails always perfect, her phone always in her hand, her laughter loud and polished like it was rehearsed. Michael fell for her instantly. He said she made him feel alive, but I sensed something behind her smile, something sharp and hungry. I told Helen that the girl was too in love with herself to love anyone else, but Helen, with her soft heart, told me to give Emily time, and for my son's happiness, I tried. At first she was polite, almost sweet, but sweet like fruit that rots fast. Within months she began hinting that our home looked outdated, that our traditions were old-fashioned, that we needed to upgrade everything so her friends would not think she married beneath her lifestyle. Michael began arguing with us more often, defending her choices, repeating her words like they were his own thoughts. She pulled him slowly away from us, inch by inch, smile by smile, whisper by whisper. The humiliation began quietly, but it grew. She would sigh loudly whenever Helen made even the smallest mistake. She mocked her cooking. She criticized her voice for being too soft. She once told her that older people should stay out of young couples' decisions, as if we were guests in our own son's life. Still, Helen tried to win her over. She cooked Emily's favorite meals, gifted her small thoughtful things, tried to talk to her gently, but nothing softened Emily. If anything, it made her colder. She believed kindness was weakness and generosity was permission. The final explosion came 3 days before their fancy wedding, a wedding Emily designed as if she were marrying royalty. She wanted chandeliers imported. She wanted a venue by the lake. She wanted expensive photographers. She wanted a stage decorated with roses from another country. Everything paid for by me because she said her parents had done enough, and Michael insisted she deserved her dream day. I paid because I wanted peace, but peace never stays when someone thrives on chaos. That day, Helen was arranging small gift bags for guests in our living room. She was smiling softly, humming, trying to help, when Emily walked in, frustrated about something on her phone. She looked around and complained that everything in our house smelled old. She told Helen that the color of the ribbons she tied looked cheap. She said she would redo everything herself because she could never trust an elderly woman with aesthetics. Helen's hands froze. She looked down, embarrassed, and when I stepped in to defend her, Emily turned to me with blazing arrogance. She snapped, loudly and sharply, "I wish you would just disappear, you are ruining my life. Your presence makes everything worse." I stood still. I felt something inside me shift. A clean break. A line drawn forever. Her chest rose high like she expected me to bow or apologize, but instead I looked at her the way a storm looks at a tree about to fall. I walked to my study in silence. I opened the wedding folder. Every bill, every contract, every deposit for her grand celebration was in my name. She had insisted I handle the official paperwork because she said she had no time. But that day, that arrogance became my weapon. I picked up the phone and canceled it all. The lake venue, the caterers, the event planners, the makeup artists, the imported flowers, every single booking gone, wiped from existence in less than 20 minutes. When I came back to the living room, Emily was still ranting, still insulting, still believing she had the upper hand. I stood in front of her and said, "Your fancy wedding is cancelled, every bit of it." She went silent for 2 seconds, then screamed so loudly I could feel the walls vibrate. She accused me of being jealous, controlling, outdated. But I did not care, because the next words I said changed everything. "Pack your things, you and my son are leaving this house right now." Michael froze, his mouth open, his eyes stunned. He asked why I was embarrassing him, but I told him clearly, "You watched your wife insult your mother and say she wished I would disappear, and you did nothing. You do not get to stay under my roof while disrespect thrives here." Emily demanded I apologize. She tried threatening legal action, but she did not read a single contract she signed. All payments had been mine. All authority had been mine. Everything she planned had been built on the foundation I owned, so when I cut that foundation, she had nowhere to stand. Within an hour they were out, Emily screaming, dragging suitcases, slamming doors, cursing me, shouting that I ruined her life, Michael following behind her with shame painted on his face. I closed the door softly, not out of sadness, but out of control, and Helen collapsed into my arms, crying not out of heartbreak but out of relief. For the first time in months, the house felt like ours again. But revenge, true revenge, does not end with a door closing. It continues quietly, steadily, patiently, like water carving stone. The next few weeks were filled with whispers. Emily told her friends I destroyed the wedding out of spite, that I was threatened by her success, but the truth comes out fast when pride meets consequences. The wedding vendors started talking. The story spread. People realized she had verbally attacked an elderly woman. Her own workplace heard the rumors, and her boss called me privately to confirm what had happened. Within a month, she lost her position, officially due to downsizing, unofficially due to attitude, entitlement and the tantrum she had. Michael returned home 3 weeks after being kicked out, looking thinner, quieter, broken. He admitted that Emily controlled everything, from what he wore to who he spoke to. That she blamed him daily for the cancelled wedding, even though she had caused it with her own mouth. He said she screamed at him, insulted him, told him he had embarrassed her. He said he felt like a prisoner. I listened, but I did not rush, because forgiveness without accountability is nothing but weakness. Slowly he rebuilt his relationship with us, apologized to Helen, began helping with chores, repairing small things around the house, became the son we remembered. But Emily sank deeper into anger and bitterness. She tried to fix her reputation but failed. One of her private voice messages insulting Michael leaked online. People criticized her cruelty. Her social circle turned away from her. Her online following dropped. Her shine dimmed. Arrogance wilts quickly when the world stops clapping. The last twist came from someone we never expected. Her own mother visited us one afternoon, her eyes red and tired. She apologized for her daughter's behavior. She said Emily had pushed everyone away, that she refused to accept responsibility, that she had lost job opportunities, friendships and respect, all because she believed the world existed to serve her expectations. Her mother asked if I could forgive Emily, but forgiveness does not erase consequences, and consequences were the only lessons Emily ever understood. I told her mother that I wished Emily well, but she would not step into my home again, nor into my life. Emily would have to rebuild herself without the bridge she burned, and I meant every word. Now as I sit here in my quiet living room with Helen beside me, the evening sun touching the curtains gently, I look back and realize that the sentence she threw at me, "I wish you would disappear," became the sentence that erased the life she wanted, because I did not disappear. Instead her illusions did, her arrogance did, her fake world did, and in its place the truth stood tall. Family survives only when respect survives, and sometimes an old man like me has to remind the young that a house built on disrespect crumbles faster than any building I have ever seen. I cancelled her wedding. I kicked them out, not because I am cruel or vindictive, but because protecting my wife's dignity was worth more than any celebration. And now, whenever I think of Emily's rage, her insults, her downfall, I feel no regret, only justice. And that, my friends, is the story they will never forget. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, what would you have done if you were in my place?